AM 650 is CISL Vancouver. And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Grain.
Whitecaps are back at it on Wednesday against the Montreal Impact, but tonight it's all about the World Cup in Brazil. Wearing my third World Cup jersey in as many shows, the France shirt tonight, but it's all World Cup action. England, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Spain, Cameroon, Australia, they're all out. A few other countries, they're on the bubble right now. Coming down to maybe those third games. The likes of Costa Rica, Holland, Chile, Colombia, Argentina, they're all through. It's exciting times in Brazil. A lot of fun, different happenings. And possibly even some new teams with the opportunity to claim things. We're going to break it all down for you tonight here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. Good evening and welcome. My name's Tyler Green on Twitter at Tyler Green FC. You can listen to the show and webcast the show online at am650radio.com. Thank you for listening to us live or whether you've downloaded the podcast. The first half kickoff is brought to you by KO, Kevin O'Toole, and findaproperty.ca. Looking for a new home, buying or selling? Kevin can help you out. He's got a great place at 12th and Arbutus. It's in an old Carling O'Keefe brewery. You can find those details at findaproperty.ca. Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Prudential, Sussex Realty. Online at findaproperty.ca. Well, the World Cup has surprises, and they just keep on happening. The so-called minnows are the ones making the big waves. And the big countries are getting sent home. It's not really a surprise that, say, for example, England is getting sent home. I think a lot of people pretty much thought that they were going to be getting sent home fairly early. But nonetheless, there are a lot of big countries going, and then you look at a country like Italy. Well, they've got a big matchup coming up in their final group stage game, and they could even be getting sent home. So there are some big major countries that are getting sent home and some very fresh faces that are moving on and making this tournament kind of wide open and exciting. It made for, it's made so far for a very fun and interesting tournament. And like I said, perhaps showing some of those fresh faces that we haven't necessarily seen in a while, and it leads us to our Barber Poll, which is brought to you by Barber & Co., barberandco.ca. What has been, now in the last week, what has been the most unexpected outcome in the World Cup? A lot of options. It could be the fact that Iran was, earlier today, Iran holding Argentina until the bitter end, until Lionel Messi crushed their hopes. Could it be the way that France dismantled Switzerland, only to give up a couple goals there at the end? Is it more Chile performances? Is it maybe Mexico doing what they did to draw Brazil? A lot of options, but we want to hear from you. Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag Barber Poll. On Twitter, Soccer Talk 650, Tyler Green FC, Simon Fudge 74, and you can also email us, soccertalk650 at gmail.com, or weigh in on the phone lines at 280-0650. You can also weigh in the Barber Poll on our Facebook page as well, facebook.com/soccertalkvan. The Barber Poll brought to you by Barber & Co. Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, and a new location at Cambie and 18th. On Twitter, at Barber & Co., or visit barberandco.ca. Coming up in the first half of the program, it is going to be a fun one because Simon and I are going to debate a few issues in the starting 11 as we do each and every week. And then World Cup, World Cup talk. So I finally spit it out here. With former Whitecaps assistant coach and former Scottish international Paul Ritchie. He'll join us at 10:30 this evening for our DonnellyGroup.ca World Cup coverage. The second half of the program, Sees us chat with expert physios David Sandals again. Again, David is stationed in Brazil. We'll chat with him tonight about some of the memorable games. Also traveling to some of these games with very rabid fans, very excited fans. So we'll talk to him about that, as well as some of the processes that teams have used heading into this tournament. You look at a team like Portugal, who's very safe with some of their players, and well, they're one of the most injured teams right now at the World Cup. So we'll talk to David. Hopefully in the second hour, we're going to wake him up late again down in Brazil. Or who knows? David might still be at the beach, for all we know. Maybe at some Brazilian barbecue? Maybe getting samba lessons? Who knows? I guess we'll find out where David is. Maybe he's getting some physio work done, as Greg Balk just mentioned in my ear here. Also on the program in the second half, Paul Dolan, Sportsnet analyst, Umbro rep. He called the game between the Canadian women's national team and the German women's national team on Wednesday. So we'll talk to him about that, but we're also going to ask him who his biggest surprises for the World Cup so far and who he thinks at this point, and there's still a lot of football to be played at this tournament, but who is the goalkeeper of the tournament so far? Plus, like I said, he called the Canadian women's national team game against Germany, and they wore the brand new Umbro red kits for these, and we're going to give away one of those in the second half of the show, just after we finish up with Paul Dolan at 11:30, so stay tuned for that. But we'll ask Paul about those kits and how they came about. And as always, the manager's rant today and hot fudge with Simon Fudge, who did have a hot fudge Sunday earlier, so I wonder what Simon will be chatting about today. That coming up just near the end of the program. Always fun to find out what Simon's hot fudge is this week. You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk here on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver, and right now, score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event, plus get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. Head into Kia Vancouver right now at KiaVancouver.com. 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon. You can listen to the program again at AM 650 or online at am650radio.com. My name's Tyler Green, and Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk and Gold.com contributor Simon Fudge and I get it all started with the starting 11, debating the issues next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
The Donnelly Group has soccer fever, so they're throwing open the doors to 9 of their famous public houses at 9 a.m. for all 64 matches in Brazil. Come watch the game live. Brunch is served at every venue, and there are 540 Carlsbergs, so wake up with soccer, Samba style, and make sure you're at one of these Donnelly Group establishments. The Blackbird, the Butcher and Bullock, Tavern, the New Oxford, Library Square, Cinema, the Bimini, Lamplighter, or 3 Brits. Get details at donnellygroup.ca.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 4 barbershops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Every year in British Columbia, we lose thousands of hectares of our forests to wildfires, costing the province millions of dollars and threatening thousands of livelihoods, communities, and homes. Please, be responsible with campfires. And if you see a wildfire, call 1-800-663-5555 or star 5555 on your cell. Learn more at bcwildfire.ca. A message from the Government of British Columbia.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire!
Come and join the fun with me, Red Robinson, at the Jukebox Musical Red Rock Diner, now playing at the Granville Island stage. Get ready to rock and roll your way through Vancouver's 50s and 60s music scene. You'll enjoy some of my favorites, like Great Balls of Fire and Diana.
Stay by me, Diana.
I'd love to see you there. Tickets start from just $29 at artsclub.com. Red Rock Diner. That's artsclub.com.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps in Major League Soccer back on Wednesday. The Whitecaps, of course, to face Montreal at BC Place Stadium. Paul Ritchie, former Whitecaps assistant and Scottish international, at 10:30 to talk World Cup. We'll get his thoughts on the World Cup thus far and break down what he's seen in Brazil. But first, let's get into the starting 11. My name's Tyler Green, on Twitter at TylerGreenFC, show contributor. He also writes for Goal.com. His name is Simon Fudge, on Twitter at SimonFudge74. Disagree? Agree? We want to hear from you. And let's start with the starting 11. And number one on the starting 11, Simon, it is really our poll question as well, our Barber poll today, brought to you by Barber & Co. What has been the most unexpected World Cup match outcome so far this week?
Has to be Costa Rica's win against Italy yesterday. They were impressive, Los Ticos, in beating Uruguay in the manner they did in their first match, but that win yesterday against the Azzurri just underlined how good of a side these Central Americans are. Organized, hardworking, and just it seemed to be monumental from the point of view that they were beating Italy, even though Italy yesterday didn't look terribly interested through the course of 90 minutes to get much out of anything of that game.
For me, in the end, it resulted in a loss because Lionel Messi had a little shot of brilliance, but the way that Iran played today was just incredible. The way that they were able to just hold out. They had some chances as well to score some goals in that one. Were a little unfortunate at times, but they for me, just impressed by that total team effort that they had. For me, is probably one of the biggest surprises, that they were able to hold out so long and just really, what was it, maybe 2 minutes too short. They were able to hold out there. But some people weighing in on Twitter, Subhedgehog, stunned that Chile got a clean sheet versus Spain. Second to that was Cameroon versus Croatia, just being so strange. Boofer OC, Costa Rica over Italy. The Italians can be inconsistent in the group stage. Just didn't think Costa Rica had that in them. So some varying thoughts, but a lot of people, thinking Costa Rica over the Italians was a big one there.
Certainly was. Number two, Uruguayan defender Alvaro Paredes' decision to continue playing after a blow to the head sustained in the World Cup match against England on Thursday have led many to debate whether FIFA should revise their rules around concussions. Should the rules allow players to be replaced temporarily while they are being assessed?
No, I think it's like any other injury. If a guy goes down with a potential major knee injury, you don't get to sub somebody on right away. I think it's pretty clear whether somebody has a concussion or not. The way he was knocked out, I thought for sure he had a concussion. Now there's talk that maybe he was just time wasting a little bit to give his team a break or what have you, but I don't think there should be any change in the rules to allow a temporary player to come on. And I think it's also a little bit tough for a player to come on and get into the action and then all of a sudden come off again, and then are you going to play him again a little bit later on in the game? That it's a little bit trouble. So for me, I think no, you play with a man down and you try to make that assessment as to whether or not he has a concussion or not. And we'll talk to David Sandals about this, how long it takes to really figure out whether they have a concussion or whether they can continue. But for me, I don't think you should be allowed another player back onto the field.
No, I don't think so either. And many injuries, as you say, are assessed and dealt with off the pitch. Doesn't matter what they are. And they only seemingly affect the team that it's affected with it being a man short for only a short space of time. I think the most important thing with all of this is that a player, if it is more head-related and concussion-related, that the player should not be necessarily given total autonomy of being able to make the decision that he wants to go back in the game like Pereira was able to do, I think, against England. I think that medical staff have to sort of be given the right to take some control and sort of say, if they feel that that player has to be subbed, then he should be subbed.
Number 3 on the starting 11, keep calm and Messi on. Had it not been for the extra time goal by Lionel Messi, who would have been the man of the match from that Iranian side?
I'm going to go with the goalkeeper, Alireza Hajiji. The last line of defense when you're kind of backs to the wall is usually the one that probably has to come up with the most heroics, and he played well enough today for the most part to keep Argentina at bay, and so he would get my match of the man nod. Only a bit of brilliance from Messi would ended up changing that.
For me, it's probably the cliche answer. But I don't know if it was just one guy. I think it was a total team effort for that to be able to hold out for that long and almost get that draw. And so for me, it was a team effort. I don't think there was one player that really stood out and did the difference. I think it was, he made some great saves in goal there and what have you. But I think overall it was a good team effort in team play, and that's what was able to hold out for as long as they did.
But the question was to ask for a man of the match, not a team of the match.
Well, a team is a team. There is no one person.
Okay. All right, then.
One person does not make a team.
Unless it's
unless it is somebody named Lionel Messi.
I see. Oh, there you go. Number 4, Jurgen Klinsmann says the United States, quote, want to put Cristiano Ronaldo and his team in place, unquote. Will the United States beat Portugal tomorrow?
I think there's so much hype around the U.S. right now. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon saying that they're going to win the group. They're going to go far in this tournament now. And I think they're going to be key for a big letdown here against Portugal. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo has some injury concerns. He's going to play tomorrow. Guaranteed he's going to play tomorrow. Maybe this is a little bit of mind games going on with the Portuguese side, making them think, hey, maybe he's not all up to snuff, but I think he's going to play. And I think they're going to come out with something to prove tomorrow and show that, they got drubbed by Germany, and they're going to show that they are a team that deserves to go on into the next round, the round of 16. I think they're going to come out at least get a draw on this one. I don't think the U.S. is going to win it.
I believe the U.S. is going to win it. I think they took a lot out of that win over Ghana because they had been such a bogey team for them. And for me, they're more of a team than Portugal. For me, Portugal still remain Cristiano Ronaldo and company as a squad. And I think it'll be another exciting game to add all the catalog of incredible games that we've just had. I mean, every day we get something exciting to watch in Brazil so far. But I see the Americans showing that a bit of a team spirit, something that really, I think, grew from that first game that will lead them to getting a result tomorrow.
Number 5 on the starting 11 after Ghana and Germany drew 2-2 in the group of death. It has set up really now a wide-open group. Obviously depends as well on what happens tomorrow. But which teams make it out of the group of death, the so-called group of death?
For me, it'll be Germany and the United States. Believing that obviously the Americans will beat Portugal tomorrow. I've got a good feeling about Jurgen Klinsmann's Americans. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with most of our friends to the south of the States saying that. It's just based on what they were able to do to win against Ghana on Monday. But I think they'll get through to the round of 16. I do, however, expect if they win tomorrow that Germany will then go and beat them in the final group game and then win Group G.
I'm going to say that I'm still going to hold out and say that Germany and Portugal are going to get out of this group because I think it's going to be a tough ask for the U.S. to beat Germany on Wednesday. And I just have that feeling, like I said in the last question, I just have that feeling that Portugal is going to come through and get the points they need. And they're going to go through, and it's going to be Portugal in second and Germany in top spot still.
Number 6, Germany striker Miroslav Klose scored his 15th goal in a World Cup against Ghana today. That ties him with the Brazilian striker Ronaldo for the all-time number of goals scored in a World Cup. Will he, A, set the all-time record for World Cup goals, and B, how does he compare to that of the other great World Cup goal scorers?
I do think he will set the record. I think he's got another goal in him in this tournament, depending how far Germany goes, but I definitely see Miroslav Klose getting at least one more goal to set the record. And it is interesting to see exactly where he kind of he scores those goals that aren't really gorgeous goals. He, like the one today was him sliding in and getting that sort of last touch on the ball and just nicking it in. So I don't know if people are going to look at him and think he is as good as a guy like Fat Ronaldo and his goal scoring abilities and all the fancy footwork and the dribbling, etc. I look at a guy like Thomas Mueller as well and think he's a guy that I think could go on and break that record as well, because he probably has 2 or 3 more World Cups in him as well. So for me, I think that guys like Miroslav Klose, great goal poachers and the ability to go, but they just don't have that sort of flair and things that guys like Ronaldo and Pele had, and even a Gerd Mueller at long ago as well. But Miroslav Klose, he scored a lot of goals, but he just didn't have. He's not going to have that cachet as a Ronaldo did.
Yeah, I agree. I think as he only needs one more goal, he will do it. He'll likely do it from a super sub point of view, and set a new record, and I think he deserves it well for what he's achieved. He won't be remembered, as you said, as a spectacular goal scorer, but like most German players, he is efficient, and he has proven himself to be very efficient at this event, Soccer Showpiece event. And I think you also have to take into consideration that he's always had a lot of very good teammates around him when he's been able to score a lot of these goals in a World Cup.
All right, I'm excited about number 7 here because we might get to hear some fantastic music coming up. But U.S. national team captain Clint Dempsey, get ready, folks, set to release his debut rap album. It's called The Redux.
Is that effect? I'm on the track like Sasquatch stepping on the cat. OTs, yeah, I'm up to bat. That boy from next city on the back, put it on the map. Get pounds like y'all giving dap. Yeah, supersize that Big Mac. Paul Bunyan, I'm a lumberjack. Great white, don't get attacked. I'm a pacemaker. Heart attack.
All right, there it is. Clint Dempsey rapping. Are you gonna download this album, Simon?
No.
Come on.
No, I'm a big hip hop man, but that goes back to the what I consider the classic days of between 1988 and 1992. That's where I live with my hip hop. And having just heard it a little bit earlier, I noticed that he didn't really was saying anything other than just I was this, I was that. I'm like a Big Mac. I'm like this. I really wasn't know where he was going with that.
Well, you've remembered all the lyrics. It must be a memorable song. So I think you're going to be cruising around. I'm going to be cruising around in my Kia Sorento with that cranked just to see what it's like. Just to make fun of, I'm going to go down, I'm going to become a Sounders fan, and I'm going to go down the I-5, rocking to some Clint Dempsey rap. Bigger question, is he just going with Clint Dempsey, or is he going with Deuce? Because that's his nickname. Is he going, I'm going to download the album. I'm going to download the album, because it's like a train wreck waiting to happen, and you have to listen to it just to find out whether it's good or not. So yeah, I'm going to download it.
So it's so bad it's classic. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. I could support that theory as well.
Come on, listening to just that short clip, it's a lot better than a lot of other people trying to put it. There you go.
Next city on the back, put it on the map. Get pounds like y'all giving dap. Yeah, supersize that Big Mac. Paul Bunyan, I'm a lumberjack. Great white, don't get attacked. I'm a pacemaker. Heart attack.
Oh yeah. All right, let's go to number 8 on the starting 11.
Yes,
Simon.
indeed. The Canadian women's national team played host to Germany in a friendly at BC Place, losing 2-1 on Wednesday night. It could have been far worse, really, as a scoreline, if not for goalkeeper Irma Cloud's tremendous second half in goal for the Canadians. Otherwise, this score would have been quite a lopsided one. What does Canadian head coach John Herdman need to focus his energy on with this squad over the next year?
Well, right now, I think when you look at it, it's For me, it's take an example out of some of these teams that are playing in the World Cup right now, and you look at that Spain game. The Spanish players like to play a ball around. They like to collect the ball, pass it very quickly. Well, they had no time. They had no space at all to do anything with the ball. And really, it kind of screwed up their game plan and forced them to make changes that they weren't comfortable with. But they just really couldn't get out of the pattern of what they have been doing for really the last 6, 7, 8 years. And so they were really able to get them out of that comfort zone and take it to them. And I think that's what John Herdman has to do. He has to create a team that's difficult to play for, that takes away time and space for all the other players on an opposition team to be able to create offensive chances. And I think if you can do that with your team and create a big unit of a team that will stop anything coming forward, I think that's sort of the biggest thing that he needs to focus on. He's got players that can score goals. He's got a goalkeeper that we know can save a lot of shots in Aaron McLeod, and Karina LeBlanc as well in the first half made a lot of good saves. But if you can get that team defending like some of those teams at the World Cup that are taking away time and space and not giving any options, I think that would be an incredible sign for this Canadian team.
That, for me, would be a big piece. I think the other one is the pass and possession-oriented style of play that Herdman wants to introduce. They need to get more disciplined at being really sharp with that. I saw glimpses of where they're wanting to go, but it does require it to be at a level where it makes the opposition who are trying to get the ball from them have a really difficult time being able to dispossess them if that's the way they're going to go. And over the long term, I think that's going to work. The problem I had was that they played a team that physically was just so much stronger than them in a lot of ways and won a lot of 1v1 battles. And doing so, I felt really bad for the Diana Matheson, who's less than 5 feet tall, trying to make runs down the right-hand side, but she's got a big shadow coming over her and getting dispossessed quite easily. And it's in various little areas. Doesn't matter if Canada's attacking midfield or at the back, where they could lose those little battles and whatnot just because they're going up against a team that is going to be one of the favorites for the tournament next year. And, they're just showing why they are. They're big, they're strong, they're fast. They almost could have attacked at will. And that's the real challenge that's in front of them, especially if they're looking at being a real contender for the World Cup next year.
But how do you change that? Diana Matheson isn't going to grow a foot in the next year and be that much of a bigger player.
Well, that's the thing. He said very quick, quite statedly after the game, that, it's about trying to stick to this pass and possession-oriented kind of play, but they've got to make sure they're able to do it at such a level that it allows them to compete against those top teams. Right now, I don't see the way they're trying to play being at the level it needs to be able to compete against those top teams.
Number 9 on the starting 11, and that leads perfectly into our next question, which is the Canadian women's national team an actual contender for the FIFA Women's World Cup next year, like John Herdman stated, that it's going to be them and the U.S. in the final?
No, I think right now they're more of a dark horse than a contender. Germany are ranked second in the world, and they had the ability, without great difficulty, to impose themselves on Canada with their individual athleticism and strength. And I think, being that is really the standard of the top teams in women's soccer right now, that for me is a gap that I think Canada's going to struggle to close over the next 12 months. That is not to say that what John Herdman is doing with his team to try and pass and keep the ball is the wrong approach. It is the right path over the long term. Unfortunately, it's not going to bear enough fruit for them to be able to win next year's World Cup, Women's World Cup.
You know what? I would agree with you, but I don't, regardless of how he sets out the team and puts it forward, I think there's just too many strong teams ahead of them in the actual progression, and it's teams like Germany and it's teams like the U.S. who have so many players playing, have so many different options. You look at the women's league down in the States, if the U.S. Perhaps Hope Solo can't play in goal because she's in prison after she was charged for an alleged assault earlier today. They have 2, 3, 4 people that can go in goal for them. Canada really, you have those 3 starters or 3 players that we've seen over the last little while, but then you get into some of the other positions, and Canada just isn't as deep, and it's a lot of girls that have been there for a long time, and then there's a lot of fresh faces and young faces that maybe don't quite have the experience just yet. And for me, that's the biggest problem, and that's why I don't think that they're going to be a contender. One of those girls, 2, 3 of those girls go down with injuries. All of a sudden now, it's a bit of an issue, and those are some of the things that why I don't think that they're going to be a World Cup contender next year.
Well, and you look at the penalty they gave up, which was the winning goal. It was a mistake by Kadisha McCannon. She was caught asleep at the switch. The German player got caught in, and she just reacted sudden, cut her down. Inexperience at the end of the day right there. Number 10, Vancouver plays host to the Montreal Impact on MLS on Wednesday night at BC Place. What is your prediction for this match?
Whitecaps keep rolling. Going to get a victory over the Montreal Impact. It's one of those opportunities to prey on a team that is struggling a little bit, having trouble finding themselves. There's also some talk as to whether what will happen with some of the players. They've just traded Jabrowski to New York City FC, so there's another player that's gone. It's a team that's sort of in transition and in a bit of trouble, and I think the Whitecaps are going to be able to jump all over that, and they've got some hungry players on this team. There's an Eric Hurtado who got his opportunity, scored a lot of goals, now has this big break, wants to get back on and score some goals because he doesn't want to give up that job. You've got a guy like Darren Maddox who's on the bench wanting to get back on and playing, and I think the hunger is there. Biggest question for me is the Whitecaps back line and what they're going to do without Jada Merritt there, but I think that they're going to come away with a victory.
I do as well. I think it'll be a good game and a Whitecaps win. Being that they've been off for quite an extended period of time, both clubs, I wouldn't be surprised if proceedings actually saw the game start quite slowly and then sort of pick up pace. But I think you're right. The explosive power and speed, the way the Whitecaps want to play at home with just getting at teams and whatnot, and the fact that I think, especially on the back of all of this great World Cup action, live game, derby match, a lot of energy. Whitecaps score early. It'll be a Whitecaps win, and I think it'll be a fun night at BC Place as well if that's the case.
And finally, number 11 on the starting 11 with Jada Merritt out due to an ankle injury. Who should wear the armband for the Caps?
I think it should be Andy O'Brien. Now, he may have a quiet demeanor as someone off the pitch, but I think on it he has made his presence known. I've seen him barking directions all over the place. And I think Carl Robinson should make the most of the fact that he's got an experienced player, especially at the back, someone who's played in the Premier League and at very high levels here, and former Republic of Ireland international, to give him the armband and give him the responsibility of being sort of the leader from the front. So I think it should be Andy O'Brien.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that decision and give it to Andy O'Brien. He's, for me, the guy that has the most experience. Like you said, a quiet leader. He talks. He's taken a lot of those young players under his wing. So I'd love to see Andy O'Brien get it. If a guy like Russell Tybert gets in, I could also see Carl Robinson giving it to him and challenging him to perform well. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, and the May Fantasy League contest is presented by Umbro Canada. For June, it's a pretty simple task. Just finish 30th in the overall standings this month, and you'll walk away with a Umbro prize pack. Visit facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan for details on how to join the league. Even though the month is almost over, you can still join and possibly get into that 30th spot. It is all presented by Umbro Canada. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of the Canadian men's and women's national teams, celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. Umbro.com, the place to find it, the heart and soul of football, Umbro.com. And we'll talk Umbro with Paul Dolan and those new Canada kits in the second half of Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Plus, we're going to give you a chance to win one of those beauties, one of those beautiful Canadian Umbro kits coming up in the second half of the program, so stick around for that. Up next, though, it is former Caps assistant coach and Scotland international Paul Ritchie to talk World Cup. Next, right here on...
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise. At KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at Umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Vancouver Street Soccer League is the beautiful game at its finest. Teams of men and women who are homeless, have recently been homeless, or are at risk for homelessness get together to train and play matches. It's great fun that builds skill and confidence, and the league sent players to 4 consecutive Homeless World Cups in Milan, Rio de Janeiro, Paris, Mexico City, and Poland. Find out more at VancouverStreetSoccer.com.
This message fueled by Duso's Fresh Pasta and Sauce, proud to support community on and off the pitch.
You look fabulous. Whatever you're doing works.
Don't worry, it's not you. It's us, demonstrating what the world sounds like for some people. Mainland Hearing can help with a free hearing test and completely in-the-ear hearing aids. Hear what you've been missing. Visit mainlandhearing.com. mainlandhearing.com.
Join Mainland Hearing on AM 650's Boomer Life this Monday at 6. Other Boomer Life Monday sponsors include Canadian Estate Diamond, Rivera Retirement Living, and LDR Holistic Addiction Wellness Center.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
World Cup getting into the nitty-gritty right now as teams are trying to secure their lives into the round of 16. A few teams already determined whether they're going through or whether they're already going home, and we're going to discuss that with Paul Ritchie, former Scottish international, and of course, for our purpose today, World Cup analyst. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, World Cup update presented by Donnelly Group, showing all 64 World Cup matches. Visit donnellygroup.ca to find all the venues. Paul, welcome to the show, and for you, Paul, first off, what's sort of the best part of the World Cup tournament so far?
I just think the quality, the overall quality of the games that we've seen so far has been, I think it's surpassed everybody's expectation. As I said, I think you look at the South American teams and the Central American teams, they've certainly taken the bulls by the horns and set the standard. So it's been a fantastic World Cup so far. This is,
I think everyone's kind of said that this has been one of the most surprising tournaments in terms of some of the teams that are getting through and getting knocked out, but just overall, just most entertaining tournament so far as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think you look at the standard of the games that have been played and the quality and the number of goals that have been scored. As I said, it has been fantastic to watch, and it's been a great spectacle. And I think that's why we all love the game, and I think that's why it's been so successful.
You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. My name's Tyler Green. Alongside me, Simon Fudge. We're talking to Paul Ritchie here on AM 650 Radio. And is there one team that has really surprised you, or what surprised you the most about this tournament so far?
I just think I look at certain teams, and I think the game's evolving now. And as I said, you look at Costa Rica and you look at Chile, and you look how well they've done. And yes, people are looking at it and saying it's been a shock, but the game is changing, and I think you look at the standard of the play from, especially those two teams that we're talking about. As I said, the tenacity shown by both teams has been second to none. They've shown great courage, and great some great games that they've been involved in. And as I said, so the game has changed. I do think it's a bit beyond either one of those two teams to win it, but I've been so impressed by Chile. It's been, as I said, they've been a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
What do you think of Karim Benzema, Paul? I mean, this is a guy that is in real form and could find himself with that French team of his right at the top of being the Golden Boot winner.
For sure. I think it's he's got a fantastic goal-scoring record for his country and at club level. And I think now that you look at the French team, and in all honesty, they've been the best of the European teams. As I said, I think the Netherlands were fantastic against Spain. And they sort of went off the boil a little bit against Australia, but I think France has set the standard for the European teams, and I'll be interested to see how far they can actually go.
And the other, now that we're getting towards the end here, the big game tomorrow for the United States against Portugal. We talked about it earlier about who might come out on top. What do you see tomorrow between those two sides?
It's going to be, as I said, I'm hoping it'll be an excellent game. Having seen Portugal against the Germans, I thought Portugal were very, very poor. So the United States will go into the game full of confidence. As I said, I think the Germany-Ghana game today was another excellent game, and as I said, I think it emphasises how well the USA did against Ghana. As I said, especially the results-wise. I think, as I said, when you analyse the game, I think Ghana were the better team. But at the end of the day, in this round-robin tournament, results that matter, and the USA have got themselves in a fantastic position. And I think you look at it tomorrow, they'll be gunning for a victory, especially after today, as I said. But if they come away with a draw and give themselves some opportunity to win the last game, they'll be happy. But as I said, to win it tomorrow, and they're guaranteed they're through.
Right now, score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event, plus get 0% financing for 84 months or up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models at Kia Vancouver. Tyler Green, Simon Fudge alongside me with Paul Ritchie joining us here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, talking World Cup. And we had a few questions here from the Twitter sphere, and one person wondering, Paul, your thoughts on why do you think Spain and England got eliminated so early in the World Cup? I don't think many people thought that England was going to go far, but I think the big surprise was Spain.
I think it is, and I think that it's just caught up with Spain now. I think you look at the age of the squad and the lack of goals that were in that team. As I said, Torres this year has been very poor for Chelsea, and Costa, in my opinion, wasn't fit enough to play in the Champions League final, and I think it showed in the two games that he did feature. They just had a severe lack of goals, and I just think the age of the majority of the players in the team now have caught up with them. And as I said, Costa Rica, the younger teams and the teams that have got something to prove have done that this year. As I said, and it's been disappointing for Spain that era is coming to an end, in my opinion. And as I said, it's disappointing, but we'll have a new world champions by July, and it's exciting.
Another question on Twitter is who you think is going to win the Golden Boot in this year's tournament?
I think the way he's going at the moment, I think Benzema's gave himself a fantastic opportunity. As I said, and a lot will depend on who can stay in the tournament the longest. Obviously, Messi's got himself up and running again, and as I said, Neymar's chipped in with a few goals. As I said, Van Persie's thereabout as well. But at this moment in time, having watched the games, I'm going for Benzema.
Paul Ritchie joining us here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650 Radio. Paul, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but Miroslav Klose scores his 15th World Cup goal. He's now tied with Ronaldo for the all-time record in World Cup play. One, how does he compare to some of the other great goal scorers? He's one of those players that doesn't really do it with a lot of flash and dash like, say, a Ronaldo did, but definitely deserves the kudos. How is he going to compare against those guys?
I just think you hit the nail on the head there when you talk about the sort of flashy side of things. And Miroslav Klose has never been that type of player. He's a fantastic finisher, and he's got a tremendous eye for goal, and he deserves to be where he is just now. And I would love him to get a goal in one of his final games of this World Cup, just to overtake Ronaldo, because I think his contribution to the game for the German national team has been priceless over the years. And as I said, to get that next goal to overtake Ronaldo would be something special for him.
Is that something that you can even teach? Just his his, the smarts for the game, the whereabouts of where to stand, where to get sort of that leg in, how to get ahead on the ball like the way he does?
I think there's a lot of that's to do with natural instincts. I think a lot of the game is coachable. But as I said, you have got a natural eye for goal and the movements. As I said, some of the goals that he has scored and some of the goals that have been scored in this World Cup, just the movement of the strikers has been incredible. As I said, I do think there's been some very, very poor defending, but that's sort of heightened the levels of the games because of the number of goals that have been scored. But some of the goals that have been scored have been down to defensive errors and great movement from strikers. But I do believe that as a goal scorer can score that many goals, as I said, that's a sort of natural born talent and an eye for goal, and as I said, it's something that can't be taught.
Paul, much has been made of Belgium and how far they could potentially go with this great set of players that they have. How far do you think, after seeing their first game, which they struggled through but got a win in the end, how far do you think they're going to get?
I think they'll get out the group stages, and then all of a sudden it becomes who they meet in the last 16. As I said, I was disappointed with them in the first game, but you're right, they got that win that I think everybody needs in the first game. I think it's imperative to win your first game in the group stage. So I do think they'll get through the group, and if the draw is kind to them, then you don't know, they can maybe get to the quarterfinals. But I think that would probably be the furthest that they'll go. I haven't seen what I've seen just now, but I know that they can play better, and it's one of these ones where if they continue to improve as they did in the second half of the game when they made the changes, then as I said, it might give them the confidence to kick on. So you never know, but I would fancy them to get to the last 8.
Do you think fans in Brazil, when they get into their final group game, have a reason to be very nervous?
It's a difficult one. As I said, I think when you get to that level, as I said, the nerves are going to play a major part. I think Brazil are going to be there now, and as I said, they'll be favourites to win the final group game. But as we've seen now, I don't think you can write any nation off now. As I said, these so-called smaller teams that we all know that obviously been in this side of the pond, the Costa Ricas and the Chileans, teams like that they aren't as weak as what other people try to make out. And as I said, yeah, people are still trying to say that there've been a lot of shock results. Yeah, 1 or 2, but we know that the standard of football has increased dramatically over the years. And as I said, no nation that reaches a World Cup could be classed as whipping boys now.
Paul, I want to thank you for joining us. Before we let you go, though, I have to ask you, who do you think is going to win the World Cup now that we're sort of a week and a bit in, and has that thought changed from the start of the tournament?
It has. My thought process at the beginning of the tournament was Argentina. I do think they look a little bit rusty, but I've got to keep, as I say, I do think France have got to give themselves a right opportunity now as well. But I've got to stick with the Argentinians. As I said, I think with having a little punt on them at the start of the tournament, I've got to stick by my guns and go with them for being the next world champions.
Well, Paul, appreciate you taking some time out here on a Saturday night to join us. All the best. I know that you're out of town doing some work, so appreciate you taking some time away, and we'll hopefully catch up with you again here in a little while.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. Good night.
Thanks again. That's Paul Ritchie joining us here to talk all things World Cup. Our World Cup coverage is, of course, brought to you by the Donnelly Group, showing all 64 World Cup matches live. No cover charge. Visit donnellygroup.ca to find all the Vancouver venues. We're hoping once again to talk some injuries with David Sandals of Expert Physio, who is in Brazil. But with the World Cup happening, so many quality performances, it always means that there's going to be some rumors. There's going to be transfer rumors. These guys are showing up, doing something, all of a sudden linked with a big team. And we're going to get to some of those with Around the Globe for Uniglobe One Travel when we return.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
It was true Italy. Every weekend, the Dussault family gathered to share laughter and plates of homemade pasta. So when the Dussault brothers came to Canada, rather than become homesick for the good times, they opened Dussault's on Granville Island. A generation later, the Dussaults are still creating authentic, home-style Italian pasta and sauce from natural ingredients. Great carbs and quick, healthy meals. Official pasta of the Vancouver Canucks and Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Look for Dussault's fresh pasta and sauce at your local grocery store. Visit Dussault's, DUSOS.com.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towels, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th, and relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise. At KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Now that summer is finally here, On the Run stores at Esso stations want you to enjoy every moment. So all summer long, On the Run stores at Esso stations are featuring refreshing deals to keep you on the go. Like Gatorade 950 milliliter, 2 for $5, taxes and deposit extra. My, this is a long way up. Summer is the season to get outside and get moving. Fuel your summer fun at On the Run!
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Grade.
Yeah, the Whitecaps, they resume action on Wednesday at BC Place against the Montreal Impact. Of course, the World Cup, though, is well underway. And with some teams already playing their second games, well, some teams are advancing. Others, meanwhile, are heading home.
This is the full 90 on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, with all the info you need for the countries playing in Brazil.
This England profile is presented by the Donnelly Group. After kicking off the 2014 FIFA World Cup with a loss to Italy, England looked to rebound against Uruguay on Thursday. Unfortunately for the Three Lions, the Uruguayans struck first through Luis Suarez. England drew level in the 75th minute on a Wayne Rooney tap-in, but it was Liverpool FC's Suarez who had the last laugh, slotting home his second goal of the match in the 85th minute, as Uruguay went on to win 2-1. With 0 points through 2 matches in the group stage, England became Italy fans, knowing that only a victory by Italy over Costa Rica on Friday would keep the English in the tournament. Costa Rica won the match with Italy 1-0 and crushed England's Brazilian dream. England is eliminated from the World Cup in the group stage for the first time in 11 appearances. The last time it occurred was in 1958 when Sweden hosted the tournament. This England profile is presented by the Donnelly Group. The Blackbird, the Butcher and Bullock, Tavern at the New Oxford, Library Square, Cinema, Lamplighter, or Three Brits have all the World Cup action live. See every match live with 540 pints of Carlsberg on special. Visit donnellygroup.ca for all the details.
Yes, unfortunately for England, the price was wrong. They are going home, but it has led to a very exciting tournament thus far, and it is the Barber Poll presented by Barber & Co. online at barberandco.ca. What has been the most unexpected World Cup result this week? Let us know on Twitter at SoccerTalk650, at Tyler Green FC. a lot of different options for you. It could be one single match. It could be just an entire performance by somebody. And somebody bugging in here has to be Costa Rica, taking 6 points from Italy and Uruguay. Absolutely unexpected. So they're getting some votes. Chile as well. Let's check out the latest headlines from around the globe. Taking a look at the news, notes, and rumors from around the globe. And hey, guys have good World Cup experiences. They're going to be rumored. Well, Neil and the team at Uniglobe One Travel, they have you covered for all your travel needs. 604-677-1495. Maybe they're working on the travel for some of these players moving around from destination to destination. Well, we'll start with some World Cup news, and it seems like nothing is going right with the Spanish side because Vicent Del Bosque arguing with Cesc Fabregas during training earlier today on Saturday. The now Chelsea midfielder was part of the team preparing to face Australia on Monday, but was forced to give his bib to Xabi Alonso after Del Bosque was angered by Fabregas's attitude. Seems that Del Bosque was cooking with a little Fabregas today. Very upset. Argentina legend Diego Maradona has criticized FIFA after 7 Costa Rican players were required to give urine samples to drug testers after their 1-0 win over Italy. 7 is probably a little high for testing, and so Diego Maradona was criticizing FIFA, saying that it's really sort of now their kind of opportunity to see if they could get them out of the tournament and let Italy advance somehow. So Diego Maradona not so happy. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger is meeting Mario Balotelli's agent in Brazil this week to discuss a potential $25 million £1,000,000 move. Good move, bad move, Simon?
I don't know. It's I think we've been down this road before, and he's such an interesting character and whatnot. And I think as well it'll be difficult to pry him away from AC Milan because this is the club that he supported as a kid, and I think it would have to take a lot for him to leave Milan.
Tottenham, Everton, and Newcastle are all competing for the signature of Ecuadorian striker Enner Valencia. The Pachuca forward has scored 3 goals through 2 games at the World Cup. Lionel Messi, on the social media aspect, Lionel Messi's goal against Iran has attracted 256,000 tweets per minute, one of the highest peaks of the tournament thus far. And Astor Miroslav Klose's equalizer against Ghana, he moved him on level with Ronaldo's World Cup tally, 15 goals. The former Brazilian striker tweeted his congratulations, saying, "Welcome to the club, Klose. I imagine your happiness." What a beautiful game. So nice that Ronaldo reaching out on Twitter anyway. And that was a look at around the globe at Uniglobe One Travel. Need travel help, a trip to Europe, perhaps a trip down to Seattle for a Cascadia match, maybe a Mariners game, what have you. Neil has you covered with whatever you need. 604-677-1495. That's 604-677-1495. It's halftime here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, but Paul Dolan, Umbro rep and Sportsnet analyst, will join us at 11:30 to discuss the latest news from Umbro, including those new Canada kits, which the women debuted on Wednesday night. And we're giving away one of those suckers as well in the second half of the program. And regular contributor David Sandals of Experts Physio joins us next to talk some injuries live from Brazil. Only at Kia Vancouver, get an extra $500 discount if you tell them Tyler from Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk sent you. Hey, mention my name, say $500. KiaVancouver.com, 396 Southwest Marine Drive. But before we get to David, let's listen to the BC Soccer Profile presented by bcsoccer.net.
Time now for the BC Soccer Profile, showcasing special achievements and success stories from throughout the province. Vaughan, Ontario recently hosted a camp for the Women's National Excel program for U13 to U15 players. 8 of those players selected were representing the BC Soccer Provincial Development Program and the BC Soccer Premier League. The initial identification camp is phase 1 of the program, focusing on challenging the players' technical and tactical qualities. The 8 players at the camp represented 25% of the total players selected. Players selected were Brianna Butter of Fraser Valley FC, Reese Moffat and Jordan Haitama of Surrey United, Vancouver Island Waves, Cecilia Way and Sophie Damien, Camelia Gomez, Julia Grosso and Emma Reagan of Mountain United FC. For more information on the high-performance stream of youth soccer in BC, visit bcsoccer.net/high-performance.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
The Vancouver Street Soccer League isn't out to change the world. Just give the men and women in our homeless communities a chance to play soccer. Regardless of skill, everyone's included in practices and matches with teams from UBC, the Vancouver Police Department, the Vancouver Mayor's Office, and more. The focus is fun, but it builds skill and confidence, and that can change someone's world. Find out more at vancouverstreetsoccer.com.
This message fueled by Duso's Fresh Pasta and Sauce, proud to support community on and off the pitch.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise. At KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Attention, please. There will be nothing funny in the next 30 seconds.
And this is not a joke.
This is serious.
People are using our funny.
Online people are pretending to be
VancouverJobShop.ca.
And this is no laughing matter.
So if you search for us online, make sure it reads VancouverJobShop.ca.
Make sure there's a blue map of your area in the upper left-hand corner.
Should we do something funny now?
No, no funny.
Not even a raspberry?
Fine.